Hello everybody, welcome to another video from the 737 flight deck. Today I'm going to be showing you how to start the 737 from cold and dark as it is now. Nothing's been touched with, nothing's been tampered with, everything is in the state it is when you first load up the game and first load up the aircraft. So as you can tell, we are on a runway. The simulator does spawn you on a runway. We don't have the nice option of spawning at a gate or on the apron. So we're going to go through all the checklists that I have next to me for this aircraft. Take her up into the air, get to transition level, and then that's where we're going to end the video, guys. So hopefully keep it short and sweet. But yeah, let's get started. So, procedures wise, we don't need to worry about a lot of things because most of them are simulated in X-Plane 10 Mobile. But let's just start at the top. So chocks, well, they're not simulated, but they are on. Landing gear is down. Speed brake is down. Flap lever is up. Manual gate extension doors we don't need to worry about. Battery is damn switch. Battery is on and guarded. Standby power switch. Let's just come up here so you can get a better view. Standby power switch is on and guarded, you know that because the light goes off. Gen drive disconnect switch, well that's right down here and that's guard closed. Bus transfer switch, that's also closed, and that is also on auto. Ground power, well, we don't really need that, but just turn it on. Ground power's on. IRS mode selectors, well, they are, IRS selectors are actually up on the aft overhead panel, just to the left here, but they are simulated. Unfortunately, but we'll get back to all that in a second. So let's just reposition the camera. There we go. Right, so yeah, iris mode selectors, don't need to worry about that. ELT switch again is up on the aft overhead panel, and that is armed and guarded. Yep, that's fine. Service interphone we don't need to worry about. EEC switches, which are up here to the right. They are both on and guarded. Passenger oxygen switch is not simulated, but that's normal. Landing gear lights at the top and at the bottom are both illuminated. Mach airspeed warning tests we can't do. They are simulated, unfortunately. But we can test the stall warning, so stall number 1. And stall number 2. They do make a sound, but because I'm using my microphone to explain the checklists, you won't be able to hear the sound. But if you check out some of my videos, you'll have the opportunity to hear what the stick shaker sounds like. And to be honest, it's not a really nice sound to hear. Okay, position lights. They are down here. Position lights are steady. Wheel well lights, we'll just presume we've done a walk around already, so we'll keep them off. Wing lights, well there's no ice, we're not in icing conditions, that's fine. So that's the preliminary pre-flight procedures complete. That was a mouthful. So, because we're not doing any actual flying or like routing today, we're not going to bother using the FMC down the bottom. We're just going to worry about the actual setup of the aircraft and getting it in the air. So we'll just get away all that. Clock and time, well that's just checked. Set IRS position, we don't need to do that. Don't need to do a destination or route or flight number because we're not bothering with the CDU. Right, so prefect procedures, IRS is aligned, your damper can come on, alternative ops position is off, VHA nav transfer is normal, IRS transfer is normal, FMC transfer normal, display source auto, display control panel normal, crossfeed selector is closed, fuel pumps are off. Okay, engine test switch, don't need to worry about them too. Extinguisher test, don't need to worry about them. Cab and utility switch is on, IFE pass switch is on, APU start. So at this point you would usually put just a fuel pump on, as obviously the APU is, well, is obviously an engine, it runs on fuel. So start the APU, and then once the APU gen light illuminates, we can turn on the generator. There we go, so APU gens are on. We can now disconnect the ground power since we've got the auxiliary power unit running. Equipment cooling, don't need to worry about that. Emergency exit lights is armed and guarded. Fasten seatbelt sign is now on. Windshield wipers are park. Window heat power test, we don't need to worry about anything like that. But we can turn the window heat on now. Probe heats are off. Wing and engine anti-ice are both off. We don't need them anyways. Engine hydraulic pumps, well, we'll just turn all the hydraulic pumps on. There we go. Air temperature source, don't need to worry about it. Trim air, no need to worry about it on this game. Temperature selectors, well, we've got them as needed. Circulating fan, don't need to worry about. Air conditioning packs are already on auto, isolation valves are open. APU bleed air, we can now switch on. It does usually have to be a minute before you turn the APU bleed on, but we won't really worry about that, it's in simulated conditions. So cruising altitude we won't set, but we will set our transition altitude, which today is going to be 3,000 feet. We'll just get the flight directors and the auto throttle on. I'm just going to quickly set up the autopilot. Just keep it on the runway heading. And okay. Give it some vertical speed. Okay. Keep the course on the runway heading as well, just because we're just going to be flying in a straight line. Okay. Cruising altitude is set. Landing altitude, well, we're not going to be landing, but if you was, for PHNL is 13 feet, and it is really hard to use these dials, but after a while you sort of get used to it. We don't think we're going to be able to get exactly 13, but I will do my best. And we don't really need it anyways. So yeah, that's what you usually set. You obviously set your flight altitude, so how high you're going to be flying. That's what you set here. We'll just keep it, 4,000. That doesn't really matter. Landing lights are retracted and off. Runway turn off lights are off. Taxi lights off. Ignition selects. That's fine. Engine start switches are on auto and anti-collision lights are off. So flight directors are on, bank angle set, autopilot disengage bar is up, and minimums, well, you would usually set the rhythms, so my minimums for this is usually 300. I like to be a bit higher than usual, and the barrow for today is, let's just switch this over to is 1015. as I use the most realistic weather I can possibly get. So these clouds are actually the height as which they are in real life at the moment. As far as I'm aware, there's no precipitation. You can't simulate a wet runway, which is quite unfortunate. There's good graphics on this game, I guess, for it being a obviously a phone simulator. It's very detailed. Like, there's a lot of buttons and switches at work, and it's just such an amazing simulator. Okay, so decision height is set. I don't need to worry about flight path vectors or the meter switch or the barometric pressure because I've already set it. Altimeters are already set to QNH, which is obviously 1015. Don't need the VOR, course is already set. Mode selectors on map. Traffic switches as needed, weather radar's off. It's on, but we don't need it anyways. Okay, AP disconnect light. Don't need to worry about that. Don't need to worry about any of that. Which is the flap inhibit switch, gear inhibit switch, and terrain switch. That's all fine. Landing gear is confirmed down. Auto brake is on. If I can get it. RTO. N1 selector is auto. Speed ref selector is auto. Fuel flow switch is fine. We don't need to worry about communications. Let's see what's next. Okay, so before start procedure, chocks are off. Parking brake is set. CDU display is set. All the speeds are checked. Auto throttle's armed. Set the V2, which we've set 145. That's the speed that I usually take off at. You can keep at that speed with the weight of my aircraft at the minute for V2, which is just the one engine inoperative speed. So if one engine goes on takeoff and we have to commit to the takeoff, then we can still fly and still climb with one engine. So that's fine as it is. Initial heading set, initial altitude set. Taxi and takeoff briefing. Well, I've already informed you guys what's going to happen. It's basically going to be setting up the aircraft, flying it to 3,000 feet, and getting a tiny bit of flying done. And then, yeah, that'll be it. Okay, so that's the briefing complete. Don't need the clearance. Okay. Because we are over 11,000 kilos in our centre tank, fuel pumps can come on. All the fuel pumps can come on. Electric hydraulic switches I've already switched on. Anti-collision lights are on. Stabiliser trim set to about 5 units, 5.5 units. This is the best. Let's see, about there. Cool, that'll do. Stabiliser trim set. Aileron and rudder trims, check that there are no units, which they are. Oh, camera keeps getting away from me. Parking brake. Well, we're not doing the pushback, so we don't need to worry about the pushback or any of the pushback checklists. But what we'll do is usually on pushback you start the engines. So we will start number 2. So that's ground. Engines are spooling up. Wait for the N2 to get to 25%, and then we can put the fuel to full mix, which is there. So that's idle, or full rich, should I say. M1's increased. Okay, that's fine. Now we can start number 1. Again, Waiting for 25%. And there we go. I set that one. Let the M1 increase. Oh, camera again. Okay, great. Both engines are running perfectly. Okay, so parking brake is set. Already established that. This is the before taxi procedure, but obviously we won't be taxiing. We've already simulated a taxi. So engine generators, they can go on. Probe heat, they both can go on. Bring anti-ice and engine ice, we don't need it. Air conditioning packs, isolation valve, pressurization panel is set. That's all set. Engine bleeds, well, since we now don't need the APU, we can switch that off, take off the APU gen. Take off the APU bleeds, switch the engine bleeds on, as it asks us to do. APU bleeds are off, APU's off. Flaps to take off position, which will be flaps 5. Just like that. Trims to take off. Flight controls, so full left, centre, full right, centre, full forward, full aft, and then for the rudders, full left, centre, full right, centre. Cool. Flight controls checked. Taxi lights, it does say to turn them on, but because we are already on the runway, we will just have to turn them off again anyways, so that's fine. Runway turn off lights, well, it's not night time, so we don't need them on. Okay, other than that, it's a parking brake and brake test. I've already done a brake test, I know the brakes work fine. So that would be the end of the before taxi procedure. Okay, so before takeoff procedure now. Speed bugs set. Engine start switches are to continuous. Taxi lights off. Runway turn off lights are off. Landing lights can come on. There we go. Position lights can go to strobe and steady, which is just up here, like that. TAR rate on the transponder, so bring that fully round. There we go. Chrono, we don't need to worry about that a minute. With radars on, heading bug is set to the runway they're heading, and both flight directors are on. Okay, so if we move to the checklist to make sure I've done everything right. So pre-flight checklist. We don't need that. We'll just skip to the before takeoff checklist. So we're on the runway. So TAR is set. Chrono will start in a second. Train radar is on. Weather radar's on. Flight directors are on. Runway turn off lights are off, and landing lights are on. And that completes the before takeoff checklist. So I'm just going to quickly run through and double check that everything is how I need it, which indeed it is. We don't really need the logo light on. I'll put it on for this purpose, but yeah, usually you won't need it on. Okay, so let's do this then, shall we? So what we're going to do is release the parking brake up to 40% or thereabouts on the N1. Engines are stabilised. Setting takeoff thrusts. Slight crosswind today. Oh, kind of a heavy crosswind. Takeoff thrust set. 80 knots. V1 and rotate. Positive rate, which means gear up. Oh, this wind's really got us, really blown us off course here. Try and keep us stable. Flaps 2 and speeds checked. Bring the throttle back a bit. Above 1,000 feet, autopilot's engaged. Set the speed to 250. Flaps can come up. Okay, so I think we're all ready for the after takeoff checklist. Landing gear is up, flaps retracted, auto brake is off, that turns off automatically once you leave the runway. Altimeters are set to Q&E at the transition altitude, so just go to our transition altitude. I'll set the Q&E. Okay, and for this purpose I will leave the landing lights and the logo lights on, but that you usually turn them off after 10,000 feet, so I want to sort of keep by that. Okay, so we don't need to worry about that. Other than that, we just clean everything up. So start switches to auto. Can actually turn the retractables off, but keep the other ones on. Okay. I mean, I would usually recommend setting the sources to battery and APU gen when you start off, then switching it to Gen 2. It doesn't really make much difference, as you can tell. It didn't affect our takeoff, but just to add more simulation really. As you can see, we are heading for that mountain, so I'm just going to take off the heading bug, make a right turn. Okay, these are as close as I can get to the real weather situation. So like I say, as far as I'm aware, there's no precipitation. But now we're at a transition level. I'm just going to set the heading select to 125, just about the right course for us. Okay, set the Q&E, basically just by pressing the standard button. And yeah guys, that concludes the cold dark startup of the 737-800. Thanks very much and enjoy the rest of your day.